Hello everyone, and welcome to the Back Garden Yard channel. Today's video we're going to look at some of the world's tallest okra. That's right, I'm going to harvest okra from some of the tallest okra plants you've ever seen, and here they are. Now I'm holding this at head height. Now I'm going up the plant, and there you can see the okra. So what I'm going to do is pick this okra first, and then I'm going to literally take a tape measure and measure the plants and see exactly how tall that is. It looks like they're like over 12 feet tall, but we'll find out exactly because I'm going to put a tape on it. So first of all, let's pull this big one over and pick some okra from it. And here's the okra. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick the rest of the okra, and then I will come back and we're going to measure that okra. After that, I'm going to show you how I tie the okra so that I can save the seeds. I've been saving these seeds for over 30 years, every year, and then I have plenty to plant next year. And I love this kind of okra because it produces so long, it's so good, and I don't even know exactly what the name of it is. Somebody gave me seeds over 30 years ago, and I've still been producing this okra. Okay folks, so I've picked the okra. Look what a beautiful color, this red okra. I call it red okra because it's got a reddish tint to the stems, and later in the season it makes this red color, and it is just beautiful okra. And this is the middle of October, folks, and I'm still getting a harvest like this from these plants. So now I'm going to get the tape measure, and let's just find out just how big some of these plants are. Okay folks, let's take a look. And it's right at 11 feet tall. That's how tall that plant is. And there's several more in here that are almost that tall also, or maybe even taller. But we won't measure anymore. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you how I prepare these plants for saving seeds. And what I did was a month ago, exactly in the middle of September, I took some of these plants that were getting big and I quit picking them. And what happens then is, you can see where I was picking that okra. And now I left it here, but I let it rest in this trellis where the tomato plants were growing. There are still a few green tomatoes here, a few ripe ones over there. But anyway, what happens is, you see, it puts on these huge pods of red okra, and you can see the red stem. And then what I want to do is I'm going to literally tie them up so if the wind blows them, they won't fall down. And then once the frost hits, these pods will crack open and I can save the seeds. You can see this was the growing end here, and see how it's totally quit growing because I quit harvesting it. So that's what happens. And then if you come on down, which we will do, we can see those beautiful tomatoes. But here is another plant that I quit harvesting, and the same thing has happened. It's made these beautiful pods and then it quit growing. And then over here is one more that's about to break. So that's what I'm going to do now, is tie these up, and that way then they can grow, and I will be able to harvest the seeds sometime in November after we get our first frost. And what happens is, you see, is these are already turning brown, and then they'll crack open, and you know the seeds then are ripe. And so I've got to go ahead and tie these up. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how they look after they're tied. Okay, so I've got the okra tied, and I just want to show you how it looks up here on top of the trellis. It's tied. Now, if you don't tie your okra, what will happen is the weight will bring it down to the ground. These will bend all the way over, and then everything's going to eat your seeds. Squirrels and mice and chipmunks, they love these seeds. So you can see how I'm tying these. And then over here, I tied this one right here, and I also tied it over here, and then I laid this other one on top of it. And let's move on over. And here you can see where one broke from the weight of the pods already. But I tied it up over here, and I tied it here. And since it's not completely dead, you can see there's still life there in these little leaves on the end. I think it'll make me good viable seeds. If not, I'm trying. And then here is another one that I tied right here to the top of this trellis, and I'm letting the pods hang down through the trellis there, and I think that'll support them enough. And then the last one is down here at the end, and you can see where I tied it to the trellis, and I tied it again to the trellis. So these won't fall over, and I'll get viable seeds. Now you have to wait until the middle of November to harvest the seeds, because you want all these to be brown like this, but you actually want to see them popping open, which is something they do. They'll pop open in those sections right there. And once you see that starting, you know your seeds are ready for harvest. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something about okra. And if you did, please like and subscribe, because I'll be planting this okra again. Go ahead and get the seed started next year. And of course, there's a lot more to see in this fall garden. This is still the end of the summer garden with the okra, but the fall garden is doing great. And be sure to like and subscribe so you're not going to miss. I'm about to do another video on the fall garden. Thank you for watching.